cease to be, but instead embark on a new journey into the afterlife. This journey, they believe, requires the king to have servants in his afterlife. 1,000 humans from different families in the village will be buried alongside with the king. They will be his servants and warriors in the afterlife. Whenever a king dies, everywhere becomes gloomy as everyone becomes scared. Once upon a time, in a kingdom named Amanze, there lived two friends named Nwankwo and Ifedi. They grew up as best friends and got married at the same time. Nwankwo has 3 children and Ifedi has 3 children also. Ifedi was a well-known herbalist and Nwankwo was a sculptor. He sculpts beautiful African designs and sells them in the village markets. Aman's kingdom was a great kingdom well known across and beyond. They had one of the best lands that produces nutritious crops. They were known for having great warriors, but Aman's kingdom practices an ancient evil tradition that is cruel to the villagers. A tradition that paints a vivid picture of belief, sacrifice, and reverence for the afterlife. Whenever the death of a king happens, all the villagers will be in fear. One day, Uncle had gone to the market to sell his sculpted design. When a town crier came to the market to make an announcement, the villagers gathered around him to know what he has come to say. Then the town crier broke the sad news, saying that their king, Igwe Idika, died last night in his sleep. Immediately he said the king was dead. Everywhere was filled with silence. The atmosphere became moody. The villagers all began to cry. Some of them packed up their things and left. The villagers were crying not because of the death of their king or because of their love for him, but because of their evil, disturbing tradition that has been existing for centuries, which their kingdom has refused to abolish. They hold a firm belief in the afterlife, the role of a dead king in the spirit world. They believe that a king in his passing did not merely cease to be, but instead embark on a new journey into the afterlife. This journey, they believe, requires the king to have servants in his afterlife. 1,000 humans from different families in the village will be buried alongside with the king. They will be his servants and warriors in the afterlife. Whenever a king dies, everywhere becomes gloomy as everyone becomes scared because you do not know who will be selected to be killed and buried alongside with the king. Nwankwo, on hearing this in the market, packed up his things and left for Ifedi's house. He was panicking and could barely speak. Ifedi calmed him down and asked him what the problem was. That was when he broke the news to Ifedi that the king, Igwe Idika of Aman's kingdom, was dead. Ifedi became paralyzed and weak on hearing the news. He then turned to Nwankwo and asked him what they were going to do. Nwankwo looked at Ifedi with so much fear in his eyes and said, "Ifedi, I can't afford to lose my wife or children for any so-called evil tradition. And I don't think you also want to lose your wife and children. We have to do something. What if they select all our children to be killed and buried alongside with the king? You remember how Obianuju lost all her 9 sons 5 years ago when the previous king died? They killed all her sons, not minding if she would survive their loss or not." Ifedi then said to Nwankwo, "I think I have a plan. Why don't we protest? Let we, the villagers, gather round the palace and tell them that we can't sit back and watch them keep killing us for this evil tradition." Nwankwo then said to Ifedi, "My friend, you are right. Let us all spread the news so that the next market day we can carry out the protest. Ifedi and Wanko then went round the village to tell them about the protest, which everyone agreed to. The next market day, all the villagers gathered at the palace to protest. They were singing and shouting that enough was enough, that they were all tired of losing their loved ones because of their evil tradition. The village chief priest then came out to address the villagers. Ifedi and Wanko, who were the leaders of the protest, then stepped forward to speak their mind. The chief priest then asked what the problem was. Ifedi replied and said to him, "We are tired of being killed to be buried with the king anytime a king dies. We want this tradition to be abolished and stopped." The village chief priest then replied and said to them, "Listen to me, all of you. Our tradition remains, whether you like it or not, and whoever chooses to go against it must be punished. We've been practicing this for centuries, even before our existence. Our forefathers has been practicing this tradition, and we cannot stop it. If you are choosing to be buried with the king, then you must be killed and buried with him." The villagers were all disappointed that their plan and protest did not come out positive, and they all left crying. Ifedi then decided to make a plan and leave the village to another neighboring village. That evening, he went to Wanko's house. He said to Wanko, "I think the best thing to do is to live secretly at night with our family to our neighboring village." Wanko replied and said to Ifedi, "But how are we going to carry out this plan? You know, no one is allowed to leave or enter the village until the king is buried, and the warriors are guiding every corners of the village." Ifedi replied and said to Wanko, "Don't worry. I know a secret route that can take us to the other side of the river. Then we can take a boat and leave at night secretly." Ifedi and Wanko then agreed to meet at the river the next day at night. They agreed to live separately and not together so that no one would notice or suspect them. The next day at night, Ifedi prepared his wife and children. They carried a lamp and packed up some food. As they were going and was almost close to the river, they heard a loud voice. "Stop there! Where are you all going to?" Ifedi and his family became very scared and stood still. When the person approached them, lo and behold, it was a village warrior. He said to them, "How dare you try to escape?" As he was still talking, Ifedi, who was a herbalist, he had already prepared the sleeping herbs because of their journey, just in case something happens. He secretly brought out the herbs and blew it into the warrior's eyes. Immediately he did, the warrior fell to the ground and began to sleep. Ifedi and his family quickly ran to the river where the boat was to wait for Wanko and his family. They waited for them, but they never came. Ifedi had to leave without them, with his family. Unfortunately for Wanko and his family and children, they were caught by some village warriors when they were trying to escape and was arrested. That was how Ifedi and his family left the village that night, and Wanko, his best friend, could not. Ifedi vowed never to return to Aman's kingdom again. The lesson of this story serves as a reminder to the length in which people will go to honor their leaders and their faith. It serves as a reminder to the power of belief and intriguing way cultures around the world understands and honor the mystery of death and the afterlife. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.